Chapter 27. Adelmo rose from the ground, dusting off his clothes as he made his way towards his connecting flight. The anticipation of the journey ahead filled him with a sense of excitement. With each step he took, he felt a surge of energy propelling him forward. As he approached the gate for his next flight, he couldn't help but marvel at the bustling airport around him. The hum of voices, the sound of luggage wheels rolling on the floor, it all added to the vibrant atmosphere of the place. Upon reaching the designated area for his flight, Adelmo proceeded to check in and was informed that he had an hour and a half before his departure. He took a moment to relax and gather his thoughts, grateful for the brief respite. The prospect of exploring the airport during his layover intrigued him, and he decided to make the most of his time by taking a leisurely stroll around the terminal. The vast expanse of the airport seemed to offer endless possibilities, with various shops, eateries, and entertainment options awaiting discovery. While exploring the terminal, Adelmo's eyes were drawn to several enticing eateries. The tantalizing aromas wafting through the air made his stomach growl in anticipation. Unable to resist any longer, he approached one of the establishments and confidently placed his order for a mouth-watering hamburger, crispy fries, and a refreshing soda. The cashier informed him of the total cost, which left Adelmo momentarily taken aback. Adelmo's initial shock at the price quickly turned into a moment of contemplation. He couldn't help but mutter to himself, "My God, that is expensive." However, undeterred by the cost, he reached into his pocket and retrieved a $20 bill. Handing it over to the cashier, he eagerly awaited his change. The cashier swiftly opened the cash register, retrieving the exact amount owed to Adelmo. With a smile, the cashier handed him $6.33, assuring him that his food would be ready shortly. Adelmo's anticipation grew as he eagerly awaited the arrival of his delectable meal. Adelmo impatiently waited at the airport, his mind racing with thoughts about the exorbitant prices. He couldn't help but feel frustrated, knowing that everything within the airport premises always seemed to come with a hefty price tag. As he stood there, lost in his thoughts, he noticed his food being placed on a tray. Determined to satisfy his hunger, he swiftly made his way towards the counter to collect his meal. The airport staff handed over the tray to Adelmo with a warm smile and said, "I hope you enjoy your food and have a pleasant flight." Adelmo, caught off guard by the unexpected kindness, replied with a grateful nod, "Yeah, me too." He then proceeded to find a table where he could finally sit down and savor his meal. Placing the tray on the table, he pulled out a chair and settled himself comfortably. As Adelmo indulged in his fries, he couldn't help but be captivated by the bustling atmosphere around him. His eyes wandered, observing the diverse array of people walking by and the various restaurants that lined the airport. The constant movement and vibrant energy of the place fascinated him, making him feel like a mere spectator in a grand theater. However, amidst the excitement, Adelmo began to experience an unusual sensation in his head. Every now and then, as people passed by, he felt a sharp pain, almost as if someone had pricked him with a needle. The intensity of the pain gradually lessened with each occurrence, but a strange feeling lingered in his head. Confused and concerned, he couldn't quite comprehend the cause of this discomfort, but it persisted nonetheless, casting a shadow over his otherwise enjoyable meal. He finally finished his meal and decided to unwind with a few drinks before his flight. With that in mind, he strolled around, searching for a suitable spot to quench his thirst. Eventually, he stumbled upon a place that emitted an unusual vibe, but it piqued his curiosity nonetheless. Intrigued, he stepped into the lounge and requested a beer from the bartender. Without hesitation, the bartender handed him the drink and inquired about his destination. Adelmo responded, "I'm actually heading to Romania to visit my grandfather." The bartender, seemingly interested, remarked, "That sounds like an exciting trip. However, keep in mind that you can only have a limited number of drinks before boarding the plane. If they suspect you're intoxicated, they won't allow you to board." Adelmo nodded and replied, "Yeah, I'm aware. I just needed a place to unwind and calm my nerves with a couple of drinks." The bartender understood and said, "Ah, so it's either your first time flying or your first time flying across the seas." Adelmo chuckled and replied, "A little bit of both, actually. The last time I flew was when I was a teenager, and you know how carefree teenagers can be." The bartender nodded in agreement, acknowledging the truth in Adelmo's statement. As Adelmo sipped on his 2 beers, time seemed to slip away unnoticed. Suddenly, he realized that he was running late for his flight. Hastily, he thanked the bartender for the drinks and casually mentioned that he might return after his trip. The bartender, with a nonchalant smile, replied that he would be there, as always. Adelmo hurriedly made his way towards the departure gate, almost breaking into a run to catch his flight before the final call. Upon boarding the plane, Adelmo was greeted by a friendly stewardess who guided him to his seat. He stowed his bag in the overhead compartment and settled into his seat, fastening his seatbelt securely. As the other passengers also prepared for takeoff, Adelmo couldn't shake off the strange sensation in his head. Was it the effect of the drinks he had just consumed, or was it the nerves of flying that were getting to him? He closed his eyes, trying to ignore the unsettling feeling, and waited for the plane to begin its journey. The cabin was filled with the sounds of passengers shuffling in their seats and the hum of the engines as the plane taxied towards the runway. Adelmo couldn't help but wonder if he had made the right decision to have those beers before his flight. The uncertainty gnawed at him as the plane picked up speed for takeoff. However, as the aircraft ascended into the sky and the noise of the engines drowned out all other sounds, Adelmo felt a sense of calm wash over him. He relaxed into his seat, ready for the journey ahead, leaving behind the confusion and doubts that had plagued him earlier.